Are you sick and tired of feeling sick and tired? Are you over being so fatigued that you don't have energy for your kids, for your partner, for yourself, for your friends? Are you overwhelmed with everyday life and not sure why? Do you feel like that everybody else seems to be able to cope and handle, but for some reason you can't? Well, to cover these mystery complex cases, I've brought together some of the most brilliant minds in the alternative health space. We'll be talking everything from psychedelics to mental health, mindfulness, spiritual health, physical health. If it has to do with living your best life, I'm going to have a guest on covering that topic. Hey there, I'm Heather Gray, a certified functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and certified bioenergetic practitioner, and I am the Renegade Health Boss. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you will enjoy this show. Yay! Welcome Heather Gray to the show. Thank you for joining us. Well, I appreciate it, Heather. Thanks for having me. No, all kidding aside, I would love to talk about the conversation of summertime outings, right? They can be really frustrating, and they can be full of landmines when it comes to keeping to your health and wellness regimen, right? It can be so hard, and it can be really hard not to feel isolating when trying to make changes on your own health journey, which are absolutely imperative for long-term health. It pisses me off. I was talking to some younger folks the other day on their Instagram. They have a lot of followers, and they're like, we don't like to do the fear mongering. And I'm like, who's fear mongering? I'm just basically stating a truth that whenever you eat, if you've got an autoimmune disease and you eat one crumb of gluten, that it causes inflammation in your gut for the next 3 to 6 months. How is that fear mongering? That is plain facts. I am not the food Nazi. I have my share of treats. One, I stopped using the word cheat. There's no frickin' cheat days. There's no frickin' cheat meals, because you wouldn't cheat on your spouse, or at least you're not supposed to, right? So why on earth would you cheat on yourself? And most of you who, are dealing with health and wellness issues, you've spent so much time, so much money. Why on earth would you just want to piss that money away? Light it up, because that's basically what you're doing when you cheat with certain foods. So I typically like to go by the 80-20 rule, right? Okay, I was trying to do math in my head. I'm like 80-20, right? Except for wheat. I never, ever mess around with wheat. And if you want to know more why, go back and find the episode I did with Dr. Tom O'Brien. He's been a hero of mine for easily over a decade. And he is, talking differently than what most people out there are talking, except for like Dr. Peter Osborne, which is also, his episode comes out, I think, this month as well. But there's not very many people talking about the connection between autoimmune disease and grains, especially wheat. And how that, sadly, when you cheat with these foods, like I said, inflammation in the gut for 3 to 6 months. So all those beautiful supplements that you're paying hundreds of dollars a month for, all the, exercise, the body work, the this, the that, the other, they're not doing their job the way that they should, because you're inflaming your gut, making yourself malnourished, making yourself have a leaky brain, which is causing brain fog, right? So I like to trade up. I do something I call no pain ice cream, and it's frozen fruit blended up with like coconut cream. Or, I got myself an ice cream maker, and I'll do non-dairy ice cream versions, usually as coconut milk. I'm not a big fan of the nuts, only because unless you are soaking your nuts, there are a lot of anti-nutrients, phytic acid, all kinds of things in nuts that are really hard on the gut. And look at that one word, anti-nutrients. So there was a study that showed that, eating a handful of almonds after taking your supplements like lowered the absorption of the supplements that you were taking. So if you're going to do nut milks or, make nut ice creams, make sure you're soaking or sprouting your nuts properly. That's a whole nother conversation. But so let's talk about like 4th of July picnics, which I think this comes out after the 4th of July. But still, you know, summer barbecues, even the holidays that are up right around the corner, right? How can you best protect yourself? One, I like to ask the host firsthand, you know, I get invited to a party, yay, what's on the menu? And then they'll tell you. And then you can ask, and is any of that gluten-free? No. Okay, well then I know that I need to either A, eat before I go, or B, cook my own stuff and bring it with me, right? Because it can feel isolating. And so I never, 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 never miss an event just because of the food. I make sure to set myself up for success, right? Because if you don't plan, you are planned to fail. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? So always having that question firsthand, right? Of what's on the menu, what can I eat? Is there cross-contamination? What should I bring? You know, a lot of times they always want to, you know, potluck style. So then make sure to bring something that you can eat. Like, hello. Or a lot of times, like I said, I'll make sure to eat a nice big meal before I go, and then I just bring a few snacky stuff. Same thing with like alternative drinks. I'll make sure to bring myself a kombucha or, you know, a bubbly water, you know, something, because I don't drink. Alcohol is an absolute no-no for someone with my kind of genetics and the chronic illness. One alcohol just leads to so much brain inflammation that I'm literally talking about suicide the next day. It takes me a week to recover from the brain inflammation, the priming event that it causes, the microglia in my brain. I don't care how you spin it, folks. Alcohol is toxic to the body. It is pure poison to the body, and it takes a lot of work for your liver to overcome. And unless you are leading a super clean lifestyle, which most of you aren't, your liver is already taxed. So let's show your liver some love this summer and quit with the frickin' alcohol.
When you're facing painful symptoms, a diagnosis of chronic Lyme, or an autoimmune disease, it can be overwhelming to navigate. You already know mainstream medicine doesn't have the tools to support you, and often even alternative medicine can become a maze of options without sustained results. Modern living puts significant stress on our systems. To counter this, we need a holistic approach, utilizing the latest technology and guided by physicians with decades of clinical experience. This is biological medicine. The Biomed Center in Scottsdale, Arizona is one of the most comprehensive clinics in the world, incorporating the latest diagnostics available, such as full-body MRIs, computer regulation thermography, heart rate variability, toxin screenings, and along with hormone and gut testing, they achieve the broadest look at all systems of the body. Customized protocols are developed by physicians who have treated thousands of patients in chronic disease by optimizing their biological performance. Save yourself years of suffering and searching with a visit to the Biomed Center, Scottsdale. The future of medicine is here.
Hey there. I used to not be able to drink coffee. I always reacted to it horribly. It hurt my stomach. It made me over jittery and would inflame me and cause histamine issues. But not anymore. Not that since I started drinking Danger Coffee by Dave Asprey. It's his next level of coffees. He came out with Bulletproof, and now this is the next level up. So it is mold-free, toxin-free, and he infuses it with minerals and electrolytes. So unlike other coffees, they can actually pull minerals and electrolytes from your system because it's too acidic. It actually helps replenish those. And so I don't react to it at all. I get to have my bulletproof coffee with my MCC oil and my grass-fed butter, and I don't get the jitters, I don't get the crashes, and I love how focused and energized it makes me feel. Again, non-toxic, mold-free, infused with minerals and electrolytes. I absolutely love Danger Coffee. Make sure to check out my website, thelymeBoss.com. Go to the resource section and get yours. Okay, so failing to plan, planning to fail. You know, learning some new favorite paleo type recipes that, like I said, that you can bring along. People laugh all the time. And when I tell them that I'm dairy free, gluten free, grain free, corn free, and they're like, what do you eat? And that was part of the motivation, inspiration behind my cooking series that I made, Real Cooking for Real Life, because I got so sick of people thinking that I just ate the same thing every day and that it was boring. You know, today for lunch, we had a pork chop with asparagus and zucchini with Italian seasoning on it. Oh my God, it was ridiculous. Yesterday we had shrimp Creole. Oh, and then I made sog for the first time. I mean, like the list goes on and on. None of those recipes are actually in my course. I probably need to make another 6, 7 videos to add to it. But what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be boring. You can eat healthy-ish on a budget-ish. That's the other thing I like to change people's minds on. They have no problem, spending $500 a month on a car payment and another $500 on an insurance payment, but if they spend more than $150 a week on groceries, the very fuel for our body and our brain, they go crazy. And it's like, no, man, have you priced out cancer lately? Have you priced out Lyme disease lately? Have you priced out autoimmune disease lately? Like, this is an ounce of prevention in my mind. So my biggest part of my budget, besides my rent, is my grocery budget. I buy, I'd say 98% organic. I get all my meat from a farmer at farmer's market. It's all pasture-raised, grass-fed, no antibiotics, right? No corn. That's a whole nother subject. I actually think I talk about that in my course, in my cooking course. So I got a few little thermoses off of Amazon. I got some glass Pyrex dishes. You get some of those cold freezer blocks, and you get yourself a lunchbox, right? The thermos, like a insulated lunchbox. I just got done eating lunch. Sorry about the hiccup. And I laugh. They always call me like the bag lady because when I come in, I've got my own brand of chips that I can eat that don't have nasty ass inflammatory seed oils in them. And my own drinks, at least 2 different types that I can have. So that way, if I run out of one, I don't feel, some sort of a dessert and then some sort of a food, and maybe these are the days that you do allow yourself a little indulgence, right? But make sure that you're trading up in that indulgence. If you like pudding, look up a recipe for chocolate avocado pudding. Trust me, you'll thank me later. It's ridiculous. A lot of times it's only 4 ingredients. It's stupid easy to make, and it is so rich and amazing. It's amazing. If you've got a sweet tooth, make sure you're bringing something, cookies or something that's approved, that you can have something kind of paleo, grain-free, ingredients that you can pronounce. Like I said, I'm not talking to you to be a saint for forever, because that's just not realistic. And I want to keep things realistic. And if the hedonistic ex-hairstylist person like myself can set themselves up for success when they go out, you can too. There's no excuses. It's a learning curve, right? And you're going to make mistakes. It's awesome. Every client that I work with, it never fails. Within the first 3 months, they make a mistake and they cheat, or they accidentally get gluten or dairy, and it never fails. They get a stomach ache from hell. And it's like, awesome, because I don't want you to take my word for it, right? I want you to start learning the rhythms and the sounds of your body, the signals of your body. So that way you don't need me, right? That's the whole goal, that you don't need me. I want to teach you how to take care of yourself, and then you don't need me anymore because you're so in tune with your body. You're like, oh, that didn't sit well. The unfortunate part is that when we are so inflamed, like we have been for so long, that we don't hear those signals, right? It's like a balloon, and it's been blown up all the way, and there's no border to it. So there's no signal. You can't feel any more inflammation because it's already inflamed, to where when you take that balloon and you deflate it a little bit, now there's some room in there. And now when you eat something bad, you feel it, like there's room for feeling it. I have to come up with a better analogy, a better visual for that. But so those are some ways to get by this summer, that you can stay on your health eating track and still be social, right? Just because you're living a little different lifestyle doesn't mean you need to be a hermit, even though it feels that way, because sadly, this world is not set up for human health. it's set up for disaster, as we're seeing it with the higher numbers in autoimmune diseases, ADHD, autism, folks, autism on the rise. Like that one right there should really start pissing people off and digging for deeper answers of why. And I don't, there's a small group, especially in moms, those mama bears who are, but no matter how common a symptom may be, it is never normal. It is always your body's check engine light coming on saying, hey, dummy, there's something going on in here. And instead of taking a piece of tape and putting it over that check engine light, dig deeper and learn what your body needs. You can have a happy, energetic, fulfilled life. It takes a little time. There's a little learning curve to it. But again, if I could do it, so can you. And you don't have to do it alone. Make sure that you go to my site, renegadehealthboss.com, and go to the Foundations of Health course and use the code FASTACTION for 50% off the course. That's capital F A-S-T, lowercase A-S-T, and then capital A, Fast Action, and that'll get you 50% off the course. Start learning how to live your best life today. Stay tuned, and thanks for joining us. I look forward to seeing you again. And as always, if you were inspired by anything that you heard on today's show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. That's the only way that we help change people's lives and get this information out into the world so that change can begin one person at a time, the way that it did with me and changed my life so many years ago. Make sure too, right, if you really want to start changing your life, it starts with your diet. It starts with what's on the end of your fork. And if you want to start making changes, go to my website, www.renegadehealthboss, RENEGADE, health, HEALTHBOSS.com, and download your free ebook, your free cooking guide, Real Cooking to Real Life. And in there, you'll also find links to the videos. Don't just learn what to eat, but why, right? Don't just learn how to cook, but the reasonings behind why I use some of the tools that I do, the toxins. You've got to lower your toxic burden, and we can do that in the kitchen and with what you eat. So make sure that you pick up that free resource. It's amazing. And while we're at it, we got to do a little disclaimer. Anything that you hear on this show is for entertainment value only. You cannot hold Heather Gray, the Lyme Boss, Discovering Health LLC, or Renegade Health Boss liable for any damages that may have occurred while you have tried something that you've heard on the show. This show also contains affiliate sponsorship and paid advertising, just a heads up. But to also know that no advertising gets on here without my approval first. It's usually products that I have tried and have my stamp of approval on it. So never fear when it comes to that. But yes, cannot hold me liable. Do not, this is for educational purposes only. Please make sure that you talk to your doctor before making any medical changes. And God bless. Stay tuned.